love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All the days I've been held in your hand. From the moment that I wake up until I lay my head, I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I will sing of the goodness of God. All my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am, I will sing of the goodness of God. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest night, you are close like no other. I know you as a father. I know you as a friend. And I have lived in the goodness of God. Oh, this is my story. All my life you have been faithful. This is my song. All my life you have been so good. Every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. 'Cause your goodness is running after, it's running after me. Your goodness is running after, it's running after me. With my life laid down and surrendered now, I give you everything. Your goodness is running, it keeps running after me. All my days, all my life you have been faithful. All my life you have been so good. With every breath that I am able, I will sing of the goodness of God. The Lord our God is ever faithful. He's never changing through the ages. From this darkness, you will lead us, and forever we will say, you're the Lord our God. The Lord our God is, He's faithful and never changes through the ages. Rely on you for every moment. Yeah, I know who goes before you. I know who stands behind. The God who fills your armies is always by my side. The one who reigns forever. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. Goes before me, stands behind. Stands behind. God of angel armies is always by my side. He is a friend of mine. The God of angel armies is always by my side. The God of angel armies is always by my side. You're by our side. You've never left. We thank you, Jesus. We trust you, God. God, I look to you. I won't be overwhelmed. Give me vision to see things like you do. God, I look to you. You where my help comes from. Give me wisdom. You know just what to do. I love you, Lord, my strength. I love you, Lord, my shield. And I love you, Lord, my rock. Forever all my days, I will love you. We trust you in any season. You're there with us. We trust you, God. Come on, let's sing this together. Sing hallelujah. 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 With everything inside of me, yeah, I'll raise a hallelujah, and I will watch the darkness flee. I raise a hallelujah in the middle of the mystery, yeah. I raise a hallelujah. Fear you lost your hold on me. Oh, I'm gonna sing in the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. Oh, don't be anxious, hope will arise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Oh, I'm gonna sing. the middle of the storm. Louder and louder, you're gonna hear my praises roar. From the ashes, hope will rise. Death is defeated, the King is alive. Even when I don't see it, even when I don't feel it, you're even when I don't see it, you're working. Yes, God, you're always working. Come on. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. That is who you are. 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 Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop pressing out. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop working. You never stop working. Praise the Lord who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Hallelujah. Praise the Lord who set me free. Hallelujah. Death has lost its grip on me. You have broken every chain. There's salvation in your name. Jesus Christ, my living hope. Jesus
Well, hello, everyone, and welcome to Birmingham Bible Church Winning Wednesday. We are so glad that you have decided to join us here on today. For those of you who are new, this is a time whereby we have great speakers who talk about great topics that are for your life and for your living. And so, as a church, we realize that it is important to get to heaven, but it's also just as important to know how to live here on earth. So that is what the goal of Winning Wednesday is. That's what we're all about. We want to bring topics to you to help you live better, to help you be better, and to help you do better. And so it has been a joy and a pleasure all year long just to bring you some very interesting topics. You all have talked about them. You've called us and emailed us and just told us how great they have been. And so thank you for your fellowship. And so today is no different. We have with us a doctor who's going to talk about a topic that affects all of us, both men and women. I was shocking when I first heard Dr. Mia talk about men. I didn't know that men go through menopause. And so I'm excited to get all this information from her. She is an author. I believe her facility has won several awards just of excellence as they care for the residents here in the local Birmingham area. And so I'm excited about the topic that she's going to bring regarding men, women, gynecology, whatever it is. And so listen, I see a lot of you have already started chiming in, so thank you for that. Make sure you share this broadcast with somebody. Make sure you text it to them. Make sure you tell them just what topic is on today so that we can all be better and we can all do better. And so I introduce to you all Dr. Mia. How you doing, Dr. Mia?
I am fantastic. How are you, Lady Pam? Thank you for having me.
Oh, I am. Let me first of all say, I know you're probably running on skates right now because I know you are super busy. So thank you so much from Pastor, myself, the entire BBC family, just for taking time out to do this for us. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Yes. And so tell us a little bit about yourself, your practice, and just maybe how you got into it, and then you can, proceed with your presentation.
Okay, sounds good. So I was born and raised here in Birmingham, Alabama, and I went to medical school and I became a gynecologist and I actually became an OBGYN. I was delivering babies and then I started my own practice in 2010 and I stopped doing the OB component of my practice and really started focusing on women and women's health, women's wellness. And so with that population in there who were done having children or finishing up children through menopause, that's when I really got into the hormonal balance and understanding how much hormones affect our quality of life, our health, and our sexual function. So I started treating women with hormone pellet therapy. I had been treating them with a lot of the traditional hormones that I was taught to treat with when I was in medical school and residency. And I found that a lot of people just were not getting good results. They were still tired. They were still not sleeping, still having night sweats, no interest in sex. They were not enjoying sex anymore. They were more fatigue. They didn't have the focus and memory. So they thought they were getting adult ADHD, more irritability, anxiety, depression, and then the joint pain, the belly fat, and the difficulty maintaining weight. So I had been trying a lot of the traditional options that we write prescriptions for, and none of that was happening. So I went on my research and I learned the importance of testosterone for both men and women, as well as the aging process. And I went for training in hormone therapy. And that is when I really started this whole entire practice focusing on total wellness, hormone pellet therapy, as well as intimacy, because I know that that is a big conversation that we need to have, especially for our married couples as we continue to age and mature and understand the importance of intimacy in our relationship. So that's kind of the background. And then I got into the men because a lot of the wives were starting to feel better and they were noticing that they were feeling better. So it really made their husband's symptoms stand out once they were feeling better. So they would bring their husbands. I started treating the men. And then my ministry as far as me and my husband, is we've always done like a marriage small group. And so we focus a lot on marriage and communication and the intimacy component, not just the physical, but the emotional intimacy. So it's just all tied together down throughout this journey that I've been put on. And I really enjoy teaching women and men how to live well, age well, and experience everlasting intimacy. It's a conversation we don't talk about a lot, but it's one that we should definitely talk about because it has such a huge impact on marriage as well as total wellness.
Wow, that is awesome. I like how you're combining the physical, the whole thing, the emotional, what would be going on physically, but that's awesome. I love that.
So today I was going to talk a little bit about just the aging process because I think this would benefit your population.
Yeah.
So when we think of menopause, we always first think of women, I'm sorry, we don't think of men. But the aging process is such that when we are very young and healthy, men have a large amount of testosterone compared to women. So theirs will be anywhere from like 700 and up, whereas for women, it's usually 70 or less. So we have about 1/10 of the testosterone that men have, but that small amount that we have from the time that we are going through puberty throughout our lifespan makes a huge impact on our quality of life as well as our health. So once the hormones start to decline for men, they start to notice that they are tired, their stamina's down, they may not have as much interest in their in intimacy, physical intimacy. They may not sleep as well. They're starting to have more belly fat, more joint pain. They can notice that mind fog that women notice as well as the increased irritability, anxiety, and or depression. And if anybody, a man or a woman, already has mental disease or mental disorders that they're treating as they go through andropause versus menopause, those symptoms can get significantly worse, especially with the hormonal imbalance that goes along with that. So I think that just understanding the importance of hormone balance is going to be key, because what a lot of people don't stress and don't think about is that when a man goes through what we call andropause and his testosterone levels significantly decrease, and when a woman goes through what we call menopause, meaning she's not making any hormones, the testosterone or the estrogen, that also affects the heart. So having balanced hormones is actually cardioprotective. And if you think about when women have heart attacks and when men have heart attacks, it's right around that time when your hormones start to decline with the normal aging process. So the good news is we now have some great technology that's actually been around forever. Hormone pellet therapy and plant-based bioidentical hormones were actually the first hormones used in the United States of America. And those are the main hormones used in like Europe. Here in the United States, we have more synthetic hormones that we write prescriptions for. Those are made from horse urine. The hormones that I speak about are plant-based bioidentical hormones, meaning they look just like the hormones we produced when we were younger, and everything worked really well. Oh, I thought you had a question, Lady Pam.
No, I'm learning a lot. No,
okay.
That's good.
So, one of the first things that we do when somebody's coming in and complaining of the fatigue and the decreased libido and the decreased enjoyment, the night sweats, the problems with focus and memory, the joint pain, the belly fat, and the mood changes, is we go ahead and check those hormones, and not just the testosterone and the estrogen, but also the thyroid hormones, and we check some other vitamin levels as well, because we do believe in that total balance, and that occurs with sometimes traditional medications that we write a prescription for. Sometimes it's the supplements that all the herbs that God put on the earth for us anyway, and then sometimes it's alternative medicine like the plant-based bioidentical hormones. So we kind of look at all of those components so that each person can individually have what they need specifically for them. So numbers don't play as big of a part in this as symptoms do for me. So I individualize dosing for men and women based on their symptoms, based on their weight, based on their own numbers, so that they can feel good. Now, the benefit of hormone balance also is cardio protection, so heart protection, brain protection, so decreased risk of dementia. For women, breast protection, so it doesn't increase your risk of breast cancer. It's actually going to prevent breast cancer and decrease the risk of recurrence of breast cancer for those women who've already been diagnosed. And then also bones. So that's not something that we think about as we age, but bones are very important. And as we age and our hormones decline, our bones can start to thin, and that's when it's easy to have a fracture, and that can affect mobility and quality of life. And it can be really the biggest difference between being able to stay at home as you age and mature and needing to be in a nursing home because you need help getting around because of thin bones, which is a result of aging and low hormones. So hormones play a huge part in total wellness in general and also in your overall health. Now, does everybody need hormones? No, everybody doesn't need hormones. Some people don't need them. Some people don't have the symptoms. They don't have any problems. So it's not just about looking at the labs and the numbers. It's taking those labs and numbers and associating them with that person, that person's history, how they're feeling, and what's going on with them. So I think taking an individualized approach for men and women, because some women go through menopause and they don't even realize they went through menopause. They just look up one day and they realize they hadn't had a cycle for a year and they're not having any symptoms. They're feeling good. Well, those women may not need hormone pellet therapy, and then we have those men that can go through it the same way. But then we have that group of women that can be very extreme as they journey through menopause and the different stages of life where they're having the severe hot flashes. Their relationships are being affected by the lack of desire for intimacy. They have more anxiety, more irritability because they're not sleeping. They're tired all the time. So this not only affects them personally, but it can affect them professionally as well as their interpersonal relationships. So those women are definitely going to be the women who should come and, have those hormones checked, talk to their doctors about their symptoms so that we can figure out exactly what needs to be done to improve their quality of life and decrease their health risk as well.
And a question, Dr. Mia. So I've heard, and I think you kind of said it, that a lot of times, a OBGYN will look at the symptoms as opposed to the numbers. And so is that true if a person comes in and, I'm experiencing 2 out of, whatever 6 symptoms you said, should I still come in and get some lab work done?
Yes, definitely. And I don't think it ever hurts, especially for a woman who's over 40. Because the testosterone levels for women start to decline in their 30s. And if they're on birth control, it can actually decline earlier than that. So if they're having those symptoms and it's really affecting the quality of life, that conversation needs to be had. The lab should be checked. Does everybody have to get on hormone pellet therapy? Absolutely not. There are other options. There's some supplements out there and definitely some real lifestyle changes that we can make to help improve our symptoms. But yes, like you were saying, some people just look at that number, but you have to put the number along with the symptoms and what's going on with the patient. Because, for example, a lot of people feel like they have thyroid disease because they're colder than people all the time. They have dry, brittle skin. They can't focus and remember. They're tired and they're gaining weight. And their doctor draws their lab work. Well, instead of drawing the entire panel, their doctor may just draw the TSH, which is just one part of thyroid. And that may look normal. But if it doesn't feel normal, it's not normal for that person. If you're having all the symptoms of a disease and your numbers are barely normal, then treating the symptoms will actually help you to feel better. So it's not black and white. Like if your TSH is 4, you're normal. For you, that may be normal, but for somebody else, they may be colder than other people, having the hair shedding and thinning, the dry skin, the fatigue, the weight gain, the depressed mood, where they're having all the symptoms, even if their numbers aren't what we consider abnormal. Many times treating with either supplements or with a more natural form of thyroid will help the symptoms and they feel better and have a better quality of life. And a hormone balance, even with thyroid, is heart protective and bone protective. So there are reasons to look at those numbers and have as much balance as you can across the different hormones, which would be the female and male hormones as well as the thyroid. And don't forget about insulin. That's one of the hormones. A lot of people will have symptoms and they feel like it's menopause, but sometimes it's not necessarily menopause. It's your insulin levels and your blood sugar levels. So that's why I really try to focus on real prevention, getting your screenings, going to see your doctors, finding doctors that you can trust, that care about you, that listen, and that give you the right treatments and the right suggestions for treatments, and that listen to you. So if you're going somewhere and you're not feeling like you're being heard, then you should consider finding someone who can listen and help you with those issues that you may be having.
Okay, good. Okay. And I don't know if you're going to address this or not. Is there like a typical age where people may start experiencing? Because I know you talked about hormones, but then, are there some 20-year-olds who may be experiencing some hormonal changes or
Oh, definitely. Yes, and unfortunately, we see more 20-year-olds that may go into what we call premature ovarian failure, where they actually go into menopause at a very early age and they stop producing hormones and they may not be able to reproduce. It doesn't happen very often, but we are seeing it a lot more than we used to. And I attribute everything to how we prepare our food and the genetic engineering of food and mass production. A lot of things have changed with the way that we produce food now, and I really think that has a big impact on our health. So that's again why I always focus on those lifestyle things. So eating a healthy diet, trying to eat the clean, healthy meat, not just getting necessarily chicken from Walmart, but trying to find the chicken that doesn't have the antibiotics and a lot of those other toxins in it. And just paying attention to what we're putting in our mouths, treating our bodies like that temple, and then making sure we're doing those lifestyle things besides just screening and going to the doctor, also exercising, maintaining a healthy weight, and truly getting those real screenings like your mammograms, your colonoscopies, your pap smears, and the prostate exams that we should all be getting. So not just focusing on what I can do to make you feel better, but overall, the way you're going to live well and age well is to live a life of total wellness, which takes accountability, time, and hard work.
Awesome. Okay. Sorry, I just had to interject some of those questions.
Yeah, no, you can ask anything. You can just interrupt me. This is as informal as you want it.
Okay, all right.
So we know about hormones. We know that women's hormones can be affected at an earlier age, especially if they're on birth control. We know it's not common to go into what we call premature ovarian failure, but it can happen. And if we're having any of these symptoms and we're starting to have new symptoms and things just don't feel right and it doesn't feel normal, if it's not normal, it's not normal. You should discuss those symptoms and problems with your physician so that they can figure out what you need so that you can feel good. And I think the other good news, and for men, they start noticing a lower testosterone. I would say the average man at about their mid to late 40s start to get a decline in the testosterone, but you may get those men who are younger. I still have those outlier patients who may be younger and their testosterone is lower. So like I said, if it's above 800, those men tend to feel really good. But if it's 700 or less and you're having a lot of the symptoms we talked about, like the fatigue, the belly fat, the change in your sexual function, all of those things are reasons for men to get their hormone levels checked and to get balanced as well so that they can feel good and continue to live a healthy lifestyle. And that includes, the intimacy component as well as the lifestyle changes for them too. So even though we have some great options for men and women who are in menopause and andropause, and we can do the hormone pellet therapy and we can balance those hormones, the hard work still needs to be done with the lifestyle changes, the weight management, making sure you're doing the screenings and seeing your doctors as well. So I don't want people to think I have this miracle cure and you come and then you're just going to get fixed. It's going to be, yes, when you come, we're going to balance those hormones, which will give you the opportunity and the energy to exercise more, to eat better, to not emotionally eat, to feel better so that you can do all of those hard working things that we have to do to really have that total wellness that everybody's seeking and wants to enjoy.
Awesome. This is great.
Now, the other thing that happens is not only can the hormones start to change, but when men and women are in menopause and andropause, just sexual function in general can change because it is a part of the aging process. So if the testosterone levels are down for men and women, that is going to affect sexual function. So it'll affect desire and it'll also affect sometimes enjoyment. But the other thing that we have to think about too is blood flow. So as we age, the blood flow changes. So we have less and less blood flow if somebody has diabetes or high blood pressure, heart disease, if somebody drives sitting all the time, if somebody does the long bike rides, that all affects blood flow and it can negatively affect blood flow to the genitals. So by affecting blood flow to the genitals, for men, that can equal erectile dissatisfaction. And for women, that can equal vaginal dryness and what we call anorgasmia, so lack of enjoyment of intercourse anymore. Because we have to really focus in on the blood flow. So the normal aging process, blood flow is going to decrease in general. blood flow is going to decrease in general. So we do have some wonderful intimacy procedures that can actually help with the blood flow, and that can help men have better, longer, stronger erections like they did when they were younger. It can help with the vaginal dryness. It can help with the leakage of urine for women. It can also help with the pain with intercourse, the decreased sensitivity, as well as the lack of orgasms for both men and women. There are some wonderful intimacy procedures out there. So I think the good news is that, we have options that as we're aging, we can continue to experience wonderful intimacy with our significant others, but we can also use that intimacy, that physical intimacy, to improve our emotional intimacy, and vice versa, to have better relationships so that we can grow old together and still be able to enjoy the gift from God, which is the gift of sex. And we should all be able to enjoy that for a lifetime.
I got a question. So is it, and maybe this is just something I've heard, that a lot of times as we get older, the men's testosterone decreases and the women's testosterone increases. Is that necessary? No, that's not true. That's just menopause and we just kind of being her.
And I know why you say that, because a lot of women are like, well, I'm starting to get acne and hair as I go through menopause, but that's not because of high testosterone. It's actually because of low testosterone. So one of the signs that women will see in their late 30s, 40s, when their testosterone levels are starting to decline, they notice the weight gain and more belly fat, but they also notice the adult acne, and they notice that they may get more hair, mustache, chin, even down to a beard. But again, that's why they need that thorough workup, because even diabetes and insulin resistance can cause some of those same issues, like the hair thinning, the increased acne, the increased hair on the face. So that's why it's important to get a thorough workup with all of the blood work, to have that good history given by the patient, because we ask the right questions and we can figure out exactly what's going on, so we can fix the real problem and not put a lot of band-aids and pills on problems that can easily be fixed by balancing hormones.
Okay. This is good.
So for women and men, the weight management component. So it gets harder to lose weight as we age. It's easier to gain weight, because when the testosterone levels start to decline, our muscle mass starts to decline naturally. And with less muscle, that slows the metabolism and makes it so much easier to gain weight. And that's why as we age, we start to notice more of that belly fat and less muscle mass. So exercise with resistance training is going to be key for men and women as we continue to age. It's not as much about running and doing all cardio. You need some cardio, but you really need to focus in on that resistance training, which is going to help hold on to the muscle, which will help with the metabolism. Exercise is also going to help with the mood. It's going to help better with the balance of your hormones. And then as we age and that muscle mass declines, and it's much easier to gain the weight. So weight management is going to be key, and it's not intuitive, and it is different for everybody. What works for one person may not work for another. But I think knowing your weight is one thing that a lot of people don't even know. They don't know how much they weigh because they don't like to get on the scale. Mm-hmm. And if you're not getting on the scale, you don't realize when you gain weight, because now all of our clothes stretch. So it's not obvious by just putting on clothes. So, obesity is one of our most preventative causes of so many health risks. By maintaining a healthy weight, it would be much easier to avoid diabetes, high blood pressure, heart disease, sleep apnea, cancer, chronic pain issues. Being overweight and obese will affect all of that, which will definitely negatively change how you age and you mature. And that's the thing that I want everybody to leave here with, is that we are in control of how we age. And it has a lot to do with our lifestyle and some of the other things that we're going to do to prevent disease as well as to treat disease.
I had a question about, and I don't know if you're going to talk about fibroids. Do they always occur around the menopausal phase? And then if they do, because I heard one doctor say that once, if you're not having any symptoms, you don't have to have, hysterectomy and that stuff. But if you can hold off to after menopause, is it that menopause makes it decrease in size, or?
Well, yes, because they're stimulated by estrogen. So things that worsen fibroids would be weight gain. So the more fat you have, the more estrogen you have, which can cause the fibroids to grow faster. Sometimes it's just strictly genetic. You know, big fibroids run in families. So a lot of people will say, well, my mom had to have a hysterectomy for fibroids, and so did her sisters. Now we do have some minimally invasive options for fibroid treatment where everybody doesn't have to have a hysterectomy or have a major surgery. We have some wonderful minimally invasive options, but also watching what you're eating. So clean meat again, because in a lot of the meats, they have the hormones and some of those toxins that are definitely going to make a difference with the fibroids. Increasing vegetables will definitely help. The exercise along with the weight management, and avoiding soy. So a lot of people don't want to eat dairy, but they're doing a lot of soy milk. Soy is estrogen. So you're stimulating fibroids. So I've had a lot of people who change their diet significantly, eat more vegetables. They may still eat meat, but they try to eat a cleaner meat. And I can actually tell the difference in the size on their fibroids. When I see them, they go make those lifestyle changes, and I see them again in 4 or 5 months. Now, those are drastic lifestyle changes. It's not easy to change your diet, but we do know that there are some lifestyle things that we can do that can help with fibroids, and Black women are more likely to get the larger fibroids that where they need the surgery. But again, for surgery, it's never wrong to get a second opinion to make sure that you actually need a major surgery. And again, you know, picking the right doctors that care about you, that you can have those honest conversations with. And a good doctor never gets offended by a second opinion. So yes, fibroids are a big issue, especially in the African-American community, because now we're seeing how it's affecting fertility for women, because we're seeing women with larger fibroids at much earlier ages and before they've had children, and that can affect future fertility. So, you know, that whole wellness component, watching what we're putting into our bodies, making sure we're maintaining a healthy weight, exercise, and I think everything goes completely back to total wellness and lifestyle, and behavior change is hard. So sometimes we need help with changing those behaviors. But I think understanding is everything, and knowing that when it's a problem, you have a doctor that you can trust to go to, have that discussion so that you can come up with a solution for the problem, and not just being written off or ignored or told that that's normal. It's not normal. It may be common, but it's not normal to lose all sexual desire because you're 50 years old. That's not normal. It needs to be addressed, and it definitely needs to be addressed for your own health and for your relationship. But the good news is, with technology, we have all of these wonderful things out here. We have women in medicine that have to experience all of these things. So we look at it a little differently when you yourself are going through menopause, or just like before I had a baby, I looked at my OB, OB and taking care of women who were pregnant totally different after I had my baby, and it's the same way as I continue to age. And, at first when I was younger and people were like, I'm just so tired. I'm like, well, get some rest. But once you start actually experiencing those things, you understand it's not tired. It's a severe fatigue that can affect everything, including how you care for your children. So again, finding the right doctors, if you're noticing something that's changing, taking the time to go get it worked up, because as women especially, we tend to take care of everyone else and put ourselves to the side. But we're doing this new thing now where you have to take care of yourself first, make sure you can breathe first so you can help everybody else. But it's some great technology out there where we don't have to just suffer through menopause and be miserable for the rest of our lives because we don't have hormones.
Yeah. And you're right, because as women, we just kind of, even if we're hurting, we're going to keep pushing. We're going to keep pushing through because, you have people who depend on you. But you're right. We need to know that if something is going on with you, it's something, it could be something hormonal. Just having this conversation with you has just opened up my eyes to, I was like, oh, wow, that's me, and that's me, and that's me. And, now I have the weight gain, the belly fat. And I just thought, after I had our children, my belly just got right back into place. And then that last one, but I had him at 38. And I was like, why isn't this belly going away?
Yeah. And look, that was at the time when your natural testosterone levels decline. So it can be that hormonal imbalance. So the good news is that if we having these problems now, we don't have to just ignore them and say this is the way life goes. Now we know that there are things that can be done, and it doesn't necessarily have to be hormone replacement therapy. It could be supplements. But the main thing is figuring out what's going on, what's wrong, so that a good solution can be determined so that you can live your best life. You know, like we want to enjoy life. Life is short. We don't want to spend half of it so tired that we can't do those things that we enjoy.
Exactly. Well, I know I'm definitely coming to see you. I definitely am. I'm gonna, as soon as this live is off, I'm gonna sit, get me an appointment because this is really great information. It really is.
Yes, and we need to know it. Like a lot of people just think this is just it. No, 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 no. There are so many things we can do to improve quality of life. So you can give your best to the world, you know, serve your purpose here on this earth, but you do need some balance to do that.
Exactly. So how can we contact you? I don't know. Are you through with your presentation to me? I didn't want to
No, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that people understood that a lot of the symptoms that we have go along with aging, but that we do have options out there so that you can live well, age well, and experience everlasting intimacy. And the way we do that is with our lifestyle changes, total wellness, and then the hormone balance. And there are great intimacy solutions out there for people who are noticing more sexual dissatisfaction. We don't have to say that's just the way it is. Let's start sleeping in twin beds. We can say, oh, let's go see what's going on, because this is an important part of our relationship and we want to maintain this intimacy as long as we can. Physical intimacy. There's several different types of intimacy, but physical intimacy is important for relationships as well as total wellness.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now let me ask you, before I make my appointment, are you gonna take away my coffee?
No, ma'am, because that look, here's mine from the morning right here.
Okay, good. Okay, I just wanted to ask that before I actually make the appointment. Okay.
What you say? That's a non-negotiable.
That's non-negotiable. I'll do anything else, but I can't get that up.
I understand. Well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I always enjoy being able to kind of talk about these things, especially to people who may not know that, you know, you don't just have to live in misery. There's some great medical options out there for you to feel good and age well.
Yeah. Now, how can people locate you, make an appointment? If you can give people your website, office phone number, whatever it is, so we can make these appointments.
Yes, ma'am. So mibellawellness.com, M-I-B as in boy, E-L-L-A wellness.com. That's the website to the office. You can just send us an email if you want to set up an appointment. We can send you the paperwork and everything and get you scheduled so that you're not having to take a lot of time out of your day waiting on the phone. That's info@mibellawellness.com, info@mibellawellness.com. And then the telephone number here is 205-995-1009. And you can make your appointments online as well.
Okay, awesome. Before you go, Dr. Mia, I'm gonna just kind of do a couple of announcements for those who are watching, and then I'm going to have you after the announcements, just give us some close out, just remarks of what anything you want us to leave with. So I'm gonna do a couple of those at this time. So if you could just hang on just a second. All right. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here on today. Of course, we stream live several ways. We're on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, and on the My Sunday app. So if you want to be a part of all of our virtual events, all of our worship service celebrations, please watch us through one of those social media outlets. And then we have the My Sunday app. Go to your app store, download My Sunday, which is one word, locate Birmingham Bible Church, and you can receive notifications. You can see all the events that are going forth at Birmingham Bible Church. And then to receive text messages, please text BBC WW to 94253. Text BBC WW to 94253. We also have a business directory. Go to our website at bhambc.org, scroll to the bottom, click on the business directory link, and then you can key in your information. Dr. Mia, you can put your information on there, but it's free of charge. It's a great place, not only to be on our website, but also you're part of a 50,000 plus Christian database, so it gives you a lot of exposure. Our prayer room call is every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. That number is 727-731-0433. Again, that number is 727-731-0433. We are there every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 6 a.m. Central Standard Time. Every Tuesday, we are studying the scriptures with Pastor Mason at 11 o'clock a.m. We have been walking through the book of Philippians, and what a great walk it has been. Please make sure you watch us every Tuesday at 11 Central Standard Time to increase your biblical knowledge and your growth. Listen, we have something new as of today. We are now on One Place. One Place is a Christian internet provider. It's also an app, but you are able to actually listen to Pastor Mason and other Christian speakers. So make sure you can go to the website, oneplace.com, listen to Pastor Mason. You can download the outlines, follow along with him. Go to our website, bmbc.org, and then you can download those outlines as well. And so please make sure you go to the website or go to your app store in your phone and download One Place, and you can receive all of the teachings from him as well. Every Saturday, we have our small group, Taming Your Tongue. We are all learning how to tame our tongue, which is especially needed during menopause. You probably need to see Dr. Mia first. Go ahead and make sure you get her plugged in so she can help you with taming your tongue as well. So we do that every Saturday. It's at 10 a.m. And so if you desire that private Zoom ID, please email me at ladypam@tcowi.org. And then on Sunday, we are having a special service. It is not only a drive-up service, but we're also going to do in person. We're going to make sure everyone is safe and everyone is secure. Everybody's going to be social distance. Masks are going to be required. We're going to have a great time. It is our ordination service. We're going to be ordaining some key leaders for our ministry. So please make sure you join us this Sunday at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Also, you have to register because we want to make sure families are sitting together. So email welcome back at bhambc.org. Email welcome back at bhambc.org. Make sure you send me your name, and also make sure you send how many people will be sitting with you, because we want to make sure families are sitting together and then groups of families are separated and social distance. So do that as soon as you can. And then on Sunday, Pastor Mason is doing a new sermon series for the month of December. It's called the Fourth Quarter Series. I know you've been praying for stuff all year long and it hasn't happened, but great things can happen in the fourth quarter. We saw that this weekend, y'all. It was 3 overtimes and great things happened for at least Alabama fans. And so listen, it ain't over. It ain't over. Fourth Quarter Series. Please join us every Sunday as Pastor Mason deals with this great topic. Our book for the month is Win the Day by Mark Batterson. He talks about 7 daily habits you can have to be stress-free and to accomplish more. So make sure you join us on this book month club together. And then the toy mobile mobile is going to be coming to all of our kids. Parents, you have received your text message. I believe that deadline is today. You're supposed to send Miss Mariah some information, so make sure you do that on today so that we can make sure your child is going to get something from Pastor Mason / Pastor Santa Claus, like we like to call them. And then, of course, next year, 2022, it's going to be a new theme. It's our year of new beginnings. We are so excited about this, theme. God is going to do a new thing in your life if he hasn't already started on this year. So, of course, join with us in prayer as we continue to talk about that. As the year 22, the year of new beginnings. And then we have some great things coming up in the month of January. Want to get this on your hearts and on your minds. Our Birmingham Bible Church Entrepreneur Extravaganza is going to be January the 8th on a Saturday at 10 a.m. We have some awesome people. This is going to be virtual. No need to sign up for this, but we have Corvance Ross, we have Sarita Talbot, Katrina Brown, who is a local attorney, Shada Spike, Stephen Thurston, Samuel Glickman. They're going to talk to you about vision and goals for your business, how to set your business up right, how to trademark your name, the importance of communication. You can turn people off if you don't have good communication skills with your clients, even customer service. purpose and just how it all looks together. So listen, we had a great time last year, so we're going to do it again. We're going to do the remix this year. So make sure January the 8th, 10 a.m., make sure you put that on your phone, our entrepreneur extravaganza. And then Miss Shada Spice is going to do a take two for all of our high school kids, middle school kids, anybody who wants to know how to find that free money for college. She did a webinar earlier this year. It was awesome. And so this one's going to be in person, more hands-on. If you want to be a part of this, it's going to be limited seating. It's going to be at CW Hayes, but that's going to be Saturday, January 22nd at 10 a.m. Email me, Lady Pam at tcowi.org to register for that event. And then thank you so much, guys, just for your gifts, all of your contributions, just how you give towards Birmingham Bible Church. Your gifts go towards these 11 beautiful, compassionate national children that are in Haiti. It's because of your gifts, it goes towards their food, their medical supplies, their emotional growth, their physical growth. So thank you so much for that. And then your gifts go toward our land, our future. We are believing God for land. We are believing that it's going to be debt free. And so thank you for sowing into this. There are several ways that you can give. You can give via Givelify. Simply go to your app store, download Givelify, locate Birmingham Bible Church. You can also mail in your tithes, which is P.O. Box 360321. Birmingham, Alabama 35236. You can give via text, which is area code 205-289-1938. And we also have cash at bhambc.org. Thank you, everyone, for sharing this information with someone. Thank you for how you are bringing even other people to BBC. Thank you for how you are just telling people about the great events and all the great things that are going on so that we can continue to learn and be better. And so, as we always like to say, please have an awesome week. So, Dr. Mia, thank you again for taking time out of your schedule to do this. We so appreciate it. Please let people know how they can contact you, and then give us any final remarks that you want to give our audience.
All right. So we all age, but we can do that gracefully. So, at Me Bella, our goal is to help you live well, age well, so that you can experience everlasting intimacy. And that requires hard work for each one of us individually. So, living that life of total wellness, going to the doctor, getting those screenings, and then also making sure you're making some lifestyle changes to maintain your healthy weight so we can do our part. And, doing your part, something still may come up, but you still will do better if you are living that life of wellness, because you're less likely to have such severe disease, because genetics definitely play a role in everything. So mibellawellness.com, if you need to schedule your appointment, the whole goal is for you to live well and age well. And I know everybody can't come see me, but I do like to spread information so that there are many different treatment options out there, and to make sure that you find a good doctor that cares about you and takes good care of you, that you can communicate effectively with. It's Dr. Mia. Thank y'all so much for having me, Lady Pam. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. But that's all we have for today. Of course, guys, thank you for watching us. Of course, it is our desire. We always want to bring topics to you to help educate you, to empower you, to enlighten you just in every area of your life. So thank you so much for joining us. Until next year, we're going to take a break so we can plan for next year. So give us a few weeks to do that, but we'll be back on it come January, first Wednesday in January. Thank you so much, guys. Have an awesome week. And thank you, Dr. Mia. You have a great day. Okay.
Thanks.